Welcome to Home Buying 101. I'm your host, Francisco Gonzalez, and today with me is Lucy DeAndra with HomeSmart. Lucy, how are you doing today?
Hey guys, I'm doing amazing. Francisco, how are you today?
I am doing good. It is just very cold in Phoenix today, but we're surviving.
I know, what is this weather, right?
So, Lucy, tell the people, tell the masses who you are, why you got in the industry, what you love about real estate. Just give us the full soup of who Lucy is.
Okay, so hey guys, so I'm Lucy. I am an agent with HomeSmart. And while I actually come from a background of retail, so I have been working my whole life since I was 12. So my family had a family business, and in 2019, my sister and I decided to close down our location after almost 15 years there. We wanted to start something new. It just wasn't the same anymore, and it was just really long hours. And I have two kids, so I needed time with my boys. And when we decided to close, it was literally a 1 month thing. We said on the 31st of December of 2019, we're going to close our location. And yeah, we were there all night, packing everything, putting everything, taking the things to the other locations. And then January 9th of 2020, I signed up for real estate school. I did a 9-day crash course, and I got my license on March 23rd of 2020, right when the pandemic hit. I was literally looking for a school that was open so I could take my state test because everything was closing. So it was such a fun time to be a realtor. I was learning how to sell houses. I was learning how to be safe. So there I was with my Lysol and my gloves and my masks. And I even made my own hand sanitizer because I couldn't find it anywhere. So I could do the showings for my clients. Because we didn't even know what's going on. Or, sellers were so scared to show their houses. You had to be really precautious. So I didn't want to mess up. So I was trying to be prepared. I remember I made these little Ziplocs with gloves and everything I could find for my clients. Mm-hmm. And my clients didn't really want to use them. But anyways, the thought was there. And I got licensed in March. I started with HomeSmart. And I'm still with HomeSmart, and we closed my first deal May 15th of 2020.
So about 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months. That was my first deal, and let me tell you, it was insane. I did not know what a counteroffer was. I didn't know what clear to close was. I didn't know anything, but you know what? I actually had Oliver, which is one of the members on my team, help me out so much. Literally, I think real estate is so hands-on. You have to be there doing it. Go to inspections, go to showings. That's how you learn. Every client is a different experience. And it was such a vibe. And honestly, the first time I gave keys to a client, it was life-changing. It was an addiction. I had such an adrenaline. I wanted to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And yeah, and here I am 5 years later.
There you go.
Doing it all.
So let me ask you, this is the most important question I'm going to ask you is, how many times did you take the school test?
I took the school test 3 times.
And the actual test?
Oh, wait, you're talking about the school test?
The school test and then the actual test.
Oh, we don't need to talk about that, Francisco.
The people want to, I want to know. The people want to know.
I think I took it 10 times.
It's okay. I think the average is 15.
Okay, yeah. I took it 10 times. And you know what? I was all this location is bad luck. Let me go to a different location. And I went to a different location. The bad luck was me. It just wasn't clicking. And yeah, I finally passed my school. I was so excited. I passed it at the school on 83rd and Bell Road because right after I passed it, I had to go put gas at Sam's. Nice. That's right there. And I was calling my sisters and nobody would answer me and I was so annoyed. And then my sister Hortensia answered and she was so excited for me. I was like, ah!
So how many feet are in a mile?
Huh?
How many feet are in a mile?
That's not on the real estate.
Yes, it is.
No.
Or how big is an acre, I think. That's one.
Oh, 4,343,568 actually.
I'm going to fact check that later.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Lucy, what's your favorite part about real estate?
My favorite part about real estate is being able to be part of the journeys. And think about it, buying a house is a milestone for a lot of people. It's a dream, it's a goal. And I get to be part of it and I get to give them the keys to their home. A home, your house. It's so amazing.
Okay. So with that, let me ask you this. Why is it a good time to buy now? Why should you buy instead of rent? What's the conversations you are having with your clients right now?
Well, like, honestly, it just, the way things are right now and the way Arizona is really going to a renter state. And I feel like right now it's the opportunity for you to be able to become a homeowner for so many reasons. And I think like reason number one, we have a crazy, insane amount of inventory. That is like one of the best things that there could be because you have a variety, you have where to pick homes from. And you got to think about it this way. Like, I understand many of us maybe got stuck in like 2020, 2021, where everybody got super low interest rates, you know, like they scored homes for like such an awesome price, but they don't see what actually went behind that. Like people were overpaying for properties or literally like there were no properties. You literally did a search for a client for let's say 350 and maybe there was about 10 houses and those houses had multiple offers and it was insane. And right now you can find such nice homes on the MLS right now. Literally I just sent a search to a client for properties under 350. She got 137 homes. And I'm talking about like on the west side. Like there was so many to choose from. And when the rates do drop, like many people assume and many people are on the sidelines, you're not going to have those options. Mm-hmm. Not just that, right now there are so many new build incentives for new constructions. There's so many down payment assistance for people who need help with their down payment. There's just so much help right now. And I always tell people like, marry your house, not the rate. You know, right now just state your rate because right now you want to be able to get the home you want in the location you want, the school district you want. And when rates go down, you already have the home. So you don't have to worry about looking for a home. You just have to worry about refinancing your rate. And it's just educating yourself and knowing exactly what it is. Because I think that's the problem. Nobody takes the time to educate any buyers on the actual process of buying. And again, a lot of people go for the route of renting because they feel like they can't obtain home ownership and they disqualify themselves without actually talking to anybody. Like, you know, talk to the professionals that do it day per day and get that information you need. And, you know, right now renting a house is almost as much as buying a property. Like they ask you for such a huge deposit, you know, they ask you for security deposits, you have to pay for application fees. And I just always say like, if you're renting, you know, that's awesome, but also get that opinion because you maybe have a lease for 6 months, 12 months, and maybe you need help with your credit or something. Like just initiate the process, get the help because everybody can be homeowners. It's just you need to be guided by the correct people.
So at least have an idea where you stand, of course, going forward into 2025.
Yeah.
At least set up a game plan because if you don't set up a plan, what's the point, correct?
That's true. Like think about it, Francisco. How old were you when you bought your first house?
How old am I now? 37, 30, like 34.
Okay, and let's say, were you scared?
Of course.
Why didn't you buy a house before?
Because I wasn't in the market yet. I wasn't ready. I didn't know what I knew, I guess, out there. Because, yeah, I wasn't really integrated into the real estate market like I was at that point.
Okay, and here's my other question. Was the process as hard as you thought, or was it like...
The process itself, no, but finding a property was just because it was still at the end of, it was like at the beginning of 2022 when people were still offering multiple offers.
Ooh, tell us about that experience.
This is my podcast, but okay, I guess.
Well, it's because you actually lived it. Like, let's talk about it.
So I'll give you two examples because actually my brother bought a property September 2020, and then we'll talk about mine in 2022. So I think we got lucky in 2020, to be honest with you, because it was, my parents like to come out and see us a lot. And me and my brother were renting from a buddy out in Central Phoenix. We all lived together. It was our bachelor pad. We lived like kings. It was awesome. We'd go to Costco and drop like $400 and we'd eat steak almost like every other night. And
wow,
it was the dream. It was awesome. It was fun. I wish we could go back to those days. But my parents loved to come out to Scottsdale, loved to come out to visit us. So they told us, like, let's find a property. They didn't want to stay at a hotel because it was COVID. So they just told us, like, let's find a property. And if we have to help you guys out, we'll help you guys out. But we got lucky in the sense that I had multiple friends that were looking at that time. And I had one friend that they ended up moving to Texas just because they couldn't find anything here. Wow. But we got lucky in the sense that, like, my brother and me decided on a Thursday night, hey, let's go look at houses. So I don't know why he picked Tolleson, but Tolleson's awesome. So I liked it, but I didn't know where. I'd never been to Tolleson before that. Like I'd lived in Scottsdale, we had moved out to Central Phoenix, and I don't think I'd ever gone past like Westgate.
You were probably like, "Ooh, what is this?"
So that night, we honestly like picked 3 properties off of Zillow. Like we picked 3 properties, and we're like, all right. I texted the realtor the next day, and I was like, hey, I'm interested in these properties.
I'm gonna stop you right there, guys. Do not use Zillow. Find your local realtor, and they'll send you an MLS search. Don't be like Francisco.
I did it because I didn't. It was like 10 o'clock at night when we decided.
Well,
I wasn't going to text my realtor at 10 o'clock at night.
Realtors are 24/7, so you should have.
The realtor I was using was an older lady, which she was probably asleep by like 8 o'clock that night. She was a sweetheart, but she was probably already asleep.
Well, I know a few realtors if you need one. Just saying.
We'll see.
Just saying.
But, so the next day I texted her. I was like, hey, we're looking at buying a property. That we're interested in these properties. And she came back with like, hey, this one is, they've already received multiple offers. They're not receiving any more. And this was when you were receiving 20 to 30 offers on a property.
Yep, facts.
Properties were being listed in like 2 days. They were already off the market. So the second property was off the market already. It was still on Zillow, but they already had accepted an offer. And then the third property had just hit. Like we got lucky and it had just hit right when we were like making the search. It just had hit like an hour before. And they were doing showings on Saturday, and they were going to review and accept an offer by Sunday. So then I told her, okay, cool. Let me send you a couple more properties just so we don't go see one property. So I sent her 2 more. And I remember it was a Saturday morning, and the first property we show up, and it's one of those like neighborhoods in Tolleson where the street's narrow enough that you can park two cars on the side of the street, but to get through, only one car can get through.
Yeah.
And since it was early Saturday morning, everyone was still parked outside of the homes. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to live here. Like this.
I'd be like, next.
So then we walk into the house, and I don't know what photographers are using in 2020, but some of these houses look so much better on the listings.
Yes. Like, let me tell you guys, properties on the MLS or Zillow, it's like a catfish. Like, we have to angle the property so they can sell. So I always say, even if you have a doubt, go look at the property. Because all the time, my clients see a property that they were really iffy about. It's a property they love because the photos aren't done correctly.
Of course.
And the ones they really like, we go see them and they're like, yeah, this is not the vibe.
So we went through the house and we're just like, no, this is a complete catfish. And I was about to just be like, you know what? Never mind. I don't want to buy a house anymore. So we went to the second house, which was that one that had just hit the market on Thursday night. We liked it. We walked around and we were like, all right, cool. And then the third house was the one I really liked. And of course, it was another catfish. Like we walk in and the trim on the kitchen isn't correct. I don't know why this happens because I've only seen this happen at this house, but the windows, these window treatments had melted because of the sun. Because it was around like August when we were looking, like they had like melted. So it was weird. So after that, I was like, let's go back to the second house. So we went back to the second house and we liked it. So we put in an offer, and then Sunday they accepted our offer. But we just got lucky. Like we got lucky because we even told our friends like, hey, we're under contract. We're going in. And they were upset because they're like, dude, we've been shopping for like 4 or 5 months. And you guys just decided on a whim to go buy a house. And you guys were under contract in less than 24 hours. And we closed in 30 days. It was a quick close, but it was just funny.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, like the only thing I didn't like about the experience was when we did the inspections, the homeowners were there. And then when we did our final walkthrough, the homeowners were there. And there was like 2 days before were supposed to move out. And they still had all their stuff in the house.
Yep, that's what happens when the listing agent doesn't communicate with the sellers. Yeah, 2020 was a crazy time. I remember my first listing in 2020. Like before, like literally the property was on the MLS for less than an hour. And I already had sight unseen offers. Like I would literally have to get all the offers, print them out, and write 1, 2, up to like 20, 25. And then like, you got to see what numbers match. It was just insane. Who had waived like their contingency on the appraisal. Like it was insane.
I remember just seeing people's Instagram stories or reels or stuff of just, they would drive by listings. Like they'd be going to another listing or something. And they just drive by and there was a line of 15, 30 people just waiting to go into the home to look at the home.
Oh my God, I'm gonna tell you something. My first open house I did was in 2021 at my friend's house on 83rd and Camelback. Okay, let me tell you, I was not ready for this. This property, we had listed it at a good amount. We had listed it at I believe it was like 350. 83rd and Camelback. The property was original. It was 1,000 square feet. It wasn't a big property. But let me tell you, I was taking everything out of my car to set up for the open house. I had a line of people already lined up. I had like 75 people in line already waiting to see the house. It looked like I was having a house party with all the cars that were coming. I ended the open house with like a stack this big of just business cards from all the realtors that had gone. It was insane. Like, we were outside and like, I remember I called my team and I was like, I need help. Like, I cannot do this. And like, they would get there and they're like, well, what's going on? Like, I was like, I don't know. The property got a lot of attention. I was like, I'm scared. I was like, is this normal? And like, I will never forget that open house. It was like memorable. And I still have all those business cards.
So was it one of your listings or you were just doing an open house?
No, it was one of my listings.
So do you remember how much over market you sold that house for?
Yeah, like 37,000 over market.
Yeah. So it was crazy. Just like you would see the videos and just drive by and you would just, it was like the neighborhoods were being taken over and like, it was like paparazzi where you'd pull into a neighborhood with an open house and you'd just see cars. Like you said, someone was having a party or something.
I'm going to send you a clip because I have a clip of it of like all the people. I was just like, I was intimidated. It was intimidating.
Yeah. So I remember that. And even when I was looking for my rental property in 2022, that was still happening where we went to see one. I want to say it was Litchfield and Lower Buckeye. And I walked in, looked at it. I was like, okay, cool. And I walk out and there was like 6 people in line waiting to go into the house. And I was like, oh shoot, like this is crazy. But so when it came to the one in 2022, when I bought my property, I remember like, I think we went and looked at I looked at probably over 15 properties and I made 6 offers. And on one, it upset me because you can see what these properties sell for after maybe 10, 15 days after it closes.
Well, if you had the MLS, you could see it right when it closes.
Okay, well, I looked it up on Zillow.
Of course you would.
Use Zillow, guys. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's why Francisco went to go see a house that was already under contract because he used Zillow.
No, that was back in the day. Sorry. So one of them I offered them like 10 or 15 over. And then I even offered them free rent because they wanted to do a lease. What is it? Lease back?
Yeah.
They wanted to do lease back for a month or two. And then I looked at like 30 days out after they closed and I was like, why didn't they even accept my offer? They took the offer at listing price. So I was like, I offered more. And then I don't know. So I was thinking maybe the agent double dipped or something. I was like, yeah, whatever.
You know, on the MLS, you can also see who the listing and buyer's agent was. Just saying.
We might have to look that up later.
Yeah, we'll see that.
So that one, 2022, like I think 2020, we just got lucky. And then 2022, it was still where I'd go look at a house and we'd put an offer right away. Like we'd walk out and be like, okay, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's submit it. And then out of it took me 5 or 6 deals to get the property I bought.
Yeah, it's because in that market, and if we get to that market again, like you don't have the time to be like, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to sleep on it. Because guess what? Like literally somebody already submitted the offer. And by the time you think about it, it's under contract. And it happened so many times to me with my clients. And they would be like, no, I feel like you're just rushing me. And it's like, nope, it's the market. Like the market's rushing you.
And I don't know if for every half point or every point interest rates drop, they say that about 8 million people come into the market.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Like literally, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have a list of clients who they're like, hey, call me when the rates drop. Call me when the rates drop. And I'm like, what are you waiting for? Like, do you have money in your account, like to pay all this, overpricing on properties? Are you ready to not be able to get, closing costs from sellers? Are you ready to not get repairs done? Like you lose so much when you are in a seller's market compared to a buyer's market.
And not even that, like you also, for example, like right now, let's say, for example, the interest rate's a 6 or a 7, whatever it is today. It's probably closer to a 7, but the purchase price on this home could be $330. The moment interest rates drop, it's not going to be $330. It's going to be $360, $370, $380, $390, plus whatever else people are coming in with. And that was not a problem, but that was what happened in 2020 was you have to think of it this way. We were priced pretty competitively in 2020 where people from California that were selling their houses didn't mind coming out here and purchasing a home and paying $30 to $40 to $50,000 over asking because they were coming from California where the house that they were looking at here cost double what it cost here.
Yeah, like it's like you got to see things in different perspectives because a lot of us see it in the perspective as in, hey, we've lived in Arizona our whole life. And like to us, this is ridiculous paying so much for this property. Like I could never. But for somebody coming from another state, like this is literally like gold for them. Like they cannot believe what a deal they are getting on these properties that they're like, oh, I don't mind throwing another 10K, 20K as long as I get it. And for us, it's just like, wow, I can't believe that sold. So you got to think about it. A lot of people love Arizona. Therefore, there's so many more job opportunities, warehouses that are coming because we have wonderful climate. Like literally, 3-4 months out of the year, maybe it's a little
it's
hot.
not even that bad. You get used to it after a while.
It's dry heat.
It's the dry heat. But also, you go anywhere, there's misters, there's fans, there's everything. So the only time you're actually like on fire is between walking out of your house into your car and then walking out of your car from the restaurant into your car back. But other than that, like most cars have auto start. Most cars have preheating or preconditioning.
Like, think about it. How many people in Texas right now aren't like full of snow? And like, it's just a lot of states have different climate than we do. And we have like the perfect climate.
Mm-hmm. And then a lot of people, like my friends that I was telling you that got sick of shopping here and they moved to Austin was like, they're like, oh, but Texas doesn't have income tax. And I was like, yeah, but property taxes make it worse. Like you stop making income at 65, 67, 70 when you retire, but you're going to pay those property taxes forever where you're paying, like say, for example, the average property tax here is what? $1,300, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000 maybe?
Yeah.
Texas, you're looking at a house of the same size. You're paying like $6,000 to $7,000 a year in property taxes.
But they're so pretty. Like I know all of you guys see those houses on TikTok and Instagram. They're so beautiful. But yeah, like if you think about it, yeah, I think property taxes and home insurance is pretty high in Texas.
Home insurance is about double or triple here, and then property taxes are just astronomical because like, and the thing is, it's like when you start looking at like the higher price points in like let's say Houston. I remember I have a friend who's a real estate agent in Houston too. And she's like, look at this house. And it was like a $1.2 million house. Just the property taxes was $2,000 a month. Like, I was like, that's another house payment.
Seriously. And like, not just that, like I always tell the buyers, like, all right, maybe you're not happy with the current rate that the market is. Let's go look at new builds. Like new builds have so many incentives for buyers. Mm-hmm. Like literally the new build company will pay the rate down for you guys. It's just, and you guys need to think outside the box, have a real estate agent, somebody that's there to help you for your best interest and to find something that's actually meant for you. Because like, I always tell people, like, every person is a different story, a different experience. Like, you can't go by what happened to your cousin or your grandparents or your mother or your father. You know, your experience is going to be different. And, like, you need to kind of make your own way and find something that's best for you.
And I'm happy one thing you brought up new builds because I want to just disclose this as an insurance agent. Don't skip out on the inspection on a new build. Please don't skip out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you have to think of it this way. Before there was a house, before there was a foundation, it was just a plot of dirt. So you don't know what was there. Like, and then not to bash on builders, but there's been a lot of inspectors I've talked to where they found soda cans or beer cans or trash in the water pipes. They've seen houses where they'll cut corners and they won't insulate the actual, attic or roof or.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that you want to make sure because at the end of the day, yeah, the builders are building your house, but at the end of the day, they're looking out for themselves. They're looking out for their bottom line. They're not going to be like, oh, here's our inspector that's going to help you inspect the home and tell you everything that's wrong that we need to fix.
And like, I agree 100% with you. Like I, as an agent, always tell my clients, like, don't skip out on your inspection because we don't know the condition of the property. It could be a new build. It could not be a new build, but it's just like, you cannot, those $500-$600 you're going to spend can save you thousands of dollars. Like, you know, I even sometimes when they tell me like, hey, like, I don't want to do the inspection, I was like, no, we're doing it. Like, I'll pay for it. Yeah. Just because I want to make sure my clients are getting a good home. You know, even though you do have your 1-year warranty with new builds, it's just like, Do your inspection now and do your inspection then, because you just don't know.
And that's what I was going to say, especially on even resale. Like, do the inspection. It doesn't matter if you walk in, the house looks perfect to you, but do the inspection because you never know. Like, the $500 or $600 is worth a lot more than $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 claim. And you don't want to be putting claims on your insurance right away or ever, really, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is your home insurance is paid through the escrow. So you're only increasing your mortgage payment because a claim usually sits on your record for 5 years. So you're increasing your mortgage payment for the next 5 years because they're going to prorate, they're going to increase your insurance.
Huh, I learned something new.
There you go. So Lucy, walk me through the home buying process. How do I start? I want to become a homeowner. Okay. What do we do?
Come this way.
How do we?
So basically, your first step is find a real estate agent that you want to work with. Your agent should be able to pair you up with one of their preferred lenders, because the lender is the money and I am the person that goes shopping, and together we find you your home.
So how do I qualify and know what a good agent is? Like, let's say, for example, like, should I go with someone that's just like Insta famous?
No, I honestly, and I always suggest, go by referrals. If you've known people that have bought you, and I'm not saying people on Instagram or TikTok are not good agents. It's just a lot of my clients come from referrals, and I feel like it's a better, as a buyer, you feel more comfortable because, like, hey, I know you sold my mom a home and my aunt, and like that, the comfort's there, the connection's there. So, ask people that that have bought properties, or go on Instagram, go on TikTok, find an agent, interview your agent. Ask them any questions you want, because at the end of the day, they are helping you buy like your biggest purchase of your life. Exactly. So you have to have a connection. You have to feel comfortable talking to them, asking them questions, because again, this is one of the biggest purchases of your life. Like, you can't feel uncomfortable around your agent. You can't feel like you can't talk to them. Like, that's not going to work out for you, because at the end of the day, it's your house. From there, the agent gives you options of lenders. The lender is the person who's going to qualify you for your property, tell you what scenarios you have. If you qualify, don't qualify, they give you all the numbers. They're the number people. Once you actually get your pre-qualification, the shopping happens. I always say, and I always ask clients, like, what are you actually looking for? Do you want a new build? Do you want to resell? Just because it's like a different process. If you want a new build, then we have to go see communities and apply with the new build lender so you get those incentives. But honestly, most than anything, I think it's talking to the client, interviewing your client also once you meet them, so you guys can understand each other, what you're actually looking for. Because I can literally send you a list of 100 houses. You want 4 bedrooms in Phoenix, but like, you have to know, like, do you want an RV gate? Do you want how many bedrooms? Do you want a pool? Do you want a certain school district? You have to be more in detail. And that's why I'm saying you have to be comfortable talking to your agent, because again, we are here to help you guys. Like, we're a team. And
so let me ask you this, and this is the golden rule I want you to tell people too. I'm going to ask you because I already know the answer, but if I want a new build, should I go without you?
No, you have to take me.
Explain to the people why they need it. The first time, don't go to a new build community without your realtor, even if it's you're trying to save them time or you're trying to see something without them and kind of help them out. Why shouldn't I go to a new build community the first time without you?
Think about going to
what are all the doors that outside of the new build community say?
You have to have an agent with you
the first time.
Yep.
But why? What happens if I show up without you?
So if you show up without me, you don't have representation. So you got to think about it this way: the sales rep that works for the builder, not for you. So yes, they were like, oh, we have this incentive and we have this, but they don't really go into depth with you. They don't really fight for you. And I'm going to give you a perfect example. I literally just went to a new build this weekend with one of my clients. We went to 4 different builders. We went around and they fell in love with the property. The sales rep said, hey, these are our 2 models. This is what we have, And I'm like, no, like, you have more models. Like, can we go walk them? Like, give me the key and I'll go walk them. And that's something they won't do with you. Not just that, we were there and, I was able to negotiate washer, dryer, refrigerator. They were able to negotiate more upgrades on their property at no cost. And when you're working with a sales rep from the builder, you don't have those abilities. So never go alone to a new build. It's like if you go to court without a lawyer. Like, you have to be represented and you have to go with us the first time, just because we are the ones who are going to represent you, and they're going to be like, oh, she has an agent. So, They may reach out to the agent, and we help you guys so much with the process because you have to apply with the builders, lenders in order to get these incentives. And us as agents, we know the incentives, we know what they're offering because we get emails, we're in constant communication. We should be doing our research with a lot of new builds to know what there is, what they're offering. There's just a lot that goes into it. And honestly, and I'm going to tell you this from my point of view, I love going to my lender appointments. I go to my signing appointments. I go to blue tape walkthroughs. I go to all the appointments that I need to go to with my clients because it's just they're trusting you with the big purchase. So you need to be able to make the time. I'm not just going to go show you a house, show up for an inspection, and show up at closing. Mm-hmm. Like you have to be there at all points. What is it?
At all points of the transaction.
Yeah, there you go. Francisco got it. But yeah, guys.
So you send us a list. We've done the search. We tell you exactly what we want. What happens? Then you go show us houses, correct?
Okay. So we already picked a realtor. We already found a lender. You are now pre-qualified. Mm-hmm. So now we are able to go shopping. Once you find the homes you want, we go and do showings. Once you find a property that you like, we submit an offer to the property. An offer contains a purchase price, our closing date, what we are asking for, type of financing. And this is where us as agents negotiate what's called closing costs towards you. Because as a buyer, you are responsible for your down payment. If you are not getting down payment assistance, you are responsible for your closing costs, which are your costs accumulated by lender fees, title fees, associations, taxes, all kinds of sorts of that. And then from there, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
This is why you shouldn't do drugs, kids.
No, guys. So once we negotiate your closing costs, we are able to negotiate a home warranty, which is different than a home insurance.
We'll talk about that later.
And then we submit your offer. We usually like giving all the agents at least 24 to 48 hours to present offers to their sellers. Once, we come to an agreement and you officially go under contract, you open escrow. Escrow is our title company. They are our third party. They're the ones who are in charge of all the money transferring. Me as an agent will never touch your money. Like it all goes through title. From there, you hire your inspector. You do your home inspection, which is very important. We ask for any repairs that need to be due for the property. They're not obligated for the seller to do, but we negotiate it. So, we find a midpoint. And from there, you continue your process of buying that property. Or if, there's no understanding, you withdraw, get your earnest money back, and off to the next. But let's say, you keep going forward. You do your appraisal to make sure your property is worth what you're paying. And then, you get the keys to your property.
And then we throw the party.
Yes, you get your closing gift, you get your videos, you get the whole shebang. And it's like, honestly, it flies. And for me as an agent, I like to filter the stress. So like, I try to keep my clients as cool as I possibly can. I'm like, I call them with good news, even though there was like a fire behind me this morning. I'm like, and it's just because like, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, can you believe that they don't want to do this? Or no, like I am your agent and I'm here to like filter all the stress out and only give you positive news. And I feel like that's honestly where some people get traumatized. Like they've worked with other agents or they've had other deals or family members and the other agent like just throws all the stress on them and worries them and then calls them 2 hours later, oh no, we're fine. And it's just like, I already had my heart attack this morning and my anxiety attack and now you're calling me and telling me everything's fine. Like it's honestly, who you work with matters.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say. Who you work with matters because honestly, you are making the biggest purchase of your life. You have to find someone that's willing to sit there and hold your hand and go through all this because it's a very stressful 30 days, 30 to 45 days, depending on how quick and how fast you find the house you want, you go under contract and everything. Because right now I'm assuming since we're in the market we're in, it's not as hard as it was 2-3 years ago that it takes that long to find a house. But sometimes it does just because you want to find, certain clients want to find something specific.
Not just that. I honestly, and I'm going to keep saying it, like we as agents, as lenders, as anybody in the process cannot want this more than the buyer. And you as a buyer have to be 100% motivated, because honestly, the deal can go so smoothly as long as you're fast and you respond to emails, you turn in paperwork, and it's a team effort. So again, like, you as a buyer have to be like, all right, this is what I want and I'm going to do it, and be as motivated as we are.
I love it. Okay. So, Lucy, if someone wants to reach out to you to start the process or start at least looking at where they stand and ask you questions, where can they reach out to you?
You guys can reach me on my cell phone at 623-523-3292. I am on Instagram as AZ Realtor Lucy. But yeah, or tell Francisco will tell me.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for educating our audience. And I hope you have a good day and stay warm out there.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Bye.